Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I want to share with you a powerful and motivational story written in simple American English. It's not just a story, it's a life lesson about why hard work always beats talent. In a small American town, there were two boys who grew up on the same street. One was named Ethan, and the other was Michael. Ethan was the kind of kid everyone admired. He had natural talent in almost everything he touched. If he picked up a basketball, he could shoot three-pointers without much practice. If he played the guitar, his fingers seemed to dance on the strings. Teachers often said, "Ethan is gifted. He doesn't even have to try." Michael, on the other hand, was very different. He was not naturally talented. When he tried basketball, he missed more shots than he made. When he picked up a guitar, his fingers moved slowly and clumsy. In school, he had to study twice as long just to get the same grades as others. People often said, "Michael is a hard worker, but he doesn't have the same gift as Ethan." At first, this didn't bother Michael. He accepted it. He thought maybe talent was what decided everything in life. But deep inside, he had a fire. He believed that if he kept trying, he could be just as good, or maybe even better, than someone born with talent. One summer afternoon, both boys were at the local basketball court. Ethan was playing with a group of kids, making every shot look easy. Michael sat on the side, bouncing the ball slowly. Ethan laughed and said, "Come on, Mike. You know this isn't your game. Don't waste your time." Michael smiled, but his chest burned. Maybe not now, he thought, but one day I'll show him. That night, while Ethan went home to play video games, Michael stayed at the court. He shot the ball over and over, even when the sun went down and the street lights flickered on. At first, most of his shots missed, but slowly they started to fall. Swish, swish. His arms ached, his legs hurt, but he kept going. This became his routine. Every day after school, every night after dinner, Michael practiced, while Ethan relied on his natural skill and played only when he felt like it. Michael was out there sweating, running, pushing himself. Months turned into years. By the time they reached high school, people began to notice something surprising. Michael wasn't just the hard-working kid anymore. He was getting good, really good. His shots were consistent, his defense strong, his stamina endless. Coaches started to pick him first for games. Ethan was still talented, but he hadn't improved much since middle school. He still played well, but his progress was slow. Without practice, talent stayed the same. With practice, Michael was catching up fast. Basketball wasn't the only place this battle between talent and hard work appeared. Their school held a yearly talent show. Ethan decided to play guitar. Of course, everyone expected him to win. He was known for being the natural musician. Michael surprised everyone when he signed up too. He chose to sing and play guitar. People whispered, "Michael? He can't play like Ethan. This will be embarrassing." But what no one knew was that Michael had been practicing in secret for almost 2 years. Every night, after finishing his homework, he sat in his room and played until his fingers hurt. His voice wasn't strong at first, but he trained it, recording himself and listening carefully, improving bit by bit. The night of the show, Ethan went first. He played a popular rock song. The crowd clapped and cheered. His performance was smooth and confident, just like always. Then came Michael. He sat on the stage, his hands shaking a little. But when he started to play, the room grew quiet. His chords were clean. His voice filled the auditorium. He didn't just perform a song. He told a story with his music. By the time he finished, people were on their feet. clapping louder than they had for Ethan. For the first time, Michael saw something new in Ethan's eyes. Not laughter, not pity, but shock. That night, Michael couldn't sleep. He lay in bed, thinking about what had happened. He realized something powerful. Talent is a gift, but hard work is a choice. And the choice to work hard can beat talent when talent refuses to work. Ethan still had his gift, but Michael was proving that effort, discipline, and persistence could take a person even further. And this was only the beginning of their story. By their sophomore year, Ethan and Michael were both on the school basketball team. Ethan was still the star. He scored easily, and the crowd cheered every time he touched the ball. Michael wasn't as flashy, but he had something Ethan didn't: endurance. During practice, Ethan often got tired halfway through. He would sit down, grab a water bottle, and joke with the other players. Michael kept running. He sprinted until sweat poured from his face. He shot free throws until his arms felt like lead. One day, Coach Davis called the team together. He said, "Listen, boys, talent can win you games, but hard work will win you championships. I want every one of you to remember that." Michael's heart jumped. He felt like the words were meant for him. Ethan just smirked, as if the message didn't apply to him. That season, the team made it to the regional playoffs. In the biggest game of the year, something surprising happened. Ethan started strong, scoring a few baskets, but by the second half, he was exhausted. His shots missed, his defense was weak. Michael, however, was just getting started. He ran up and down the court with energy that seemed endless. He made smart passes, strong rebounds, and even scored some key points. When the final buzzer rang, their school had won, and Michael was a hero of the night. People in the crowd shouted his name. Reporters wrote about him in the local paper. For the first time, Ethan realized his natural gift was no longer enough. One evening, after the big game, Michael visited his grandfather, who lived in a small house on the edge of town. His grandpa was a retired factory worker with rough hands and wise eyes. Michael told him about the game and how people were finally noticing his hard work. His grandpa nodded slowly and said, "That's how life works. Son, talent is like a seed. It can grow fast at first, but if you don't water it, feed it, and care for it, it dies. Hard work is the water. Hard work is the sunlight. Without it, talent won't last." Michael thought about Ethan and realized exactly what his grandpa meant. While Michael was rising, Ethan was facing something new: failure. Teachers noticed he was slipping in class. He had always been smart enough to get by without studying, but high school was harder than middle school. Suddenly, just winging it wasn't enough. In basketball, his skills weren't improving because he didn't practice much. Younger players, who trained harder, were starting to catch up. At first, Ethan ignored it. He laughed it off, saying, "I'm just not trying. If I really wanted, I'd crush everyone." But deep down, he felt fear. He was used to being the best without effort. Now, for the first time, he wasn't sure if that was true anymore. That spring, the school held a science fair. Students had to present projects they worked on for months. Ethan signed up last minute. He threw together a simple volcano model the night before. It looked nice, but it didn't really teach anything new. Michael, on the other hand, had been working for weeks. He built a project about solar energy, using small panels and a system that could light up a model house. It wasn't perfect, but it showed creativity, effort, and persistence. When the judges walked around, they smiled politely at Ethan's volcano, but gave no real praise. At Michael's table, they asked questions, wrote notes, and nodded with interest. In the end, Michael won first prize. Ethan didn't even place in the top 5. That night, Ethan sat alone in his room, staring at his guitar. For the first time, he asked himself, what if talent really isn't enough? Summer came again. Michael kept training, studying, and practicing music. His days were full, but he loved the feeling of progress. Every week, he saw himself getting better. Ethan, meanwhile, grew restless. He still had talent, but now he was being left behind. Coaches didn't call him the star anymore. Teachers didn't praise his natural smarts. He was just another student, and it scared him. One evening, Ethan met Michael at the basketball court. Michael was practicing as usual, sweat dripping from his forehead. Ethan bounced the ball lazily and said, "Mike, how you do it? Don't you ever get tired of working so hard?" Michael stopped, looked at him, and smiled. "Of course I get tired, but I'd rather be tired from progress than tired from doing nothing." Those words hit Ethan deep. For the first time in his life, he considered that maybe he needed to change. The next morning, Ethan did something different. Instead of sleeping in, he woke up early and went for a run. His legs hurt, his chest burned, but he kept going. Later, he sat at his desk and studied for an upcoming math test. It was frustrating, but he forced himself to keep at it until he understood. That evening, he picked up his guitar and practiced, not for fun, not just to play, but to truly improve. It was the hardest day he'd had in years, but when he went to bed, he felt something new: pride. For the first time, Ethan realized what Michael had known all along. Hard work builds strength that talent alone can never give. By his senior year, Michael had become captain of the basketball team. He wasn't the tallest, the fastest, or even the most talented player, but he was the hardest worker, and everyone respected him for it. Ethan was still on the team, but now he was different. He had started practicing seriously, and while it was hard at first, he was beginning to see progress. He wasn't the lazy natural talent anymore. He was learning what discipline felt like. The team entered their final season together. They faced tough opponents, schools with taller players, stronger athletes, and even more natural talent. But Coach Davis reminded them, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And when talent does work hard, you have something unstoppable. The players looked at Michael and Ethan, standing side by side. Everyone knew what the coach meant. The championship came down to one final match. The gym was packed, the crowd roaring. At first, their opponents dominated. They were bigger and faster, and soon Michael's team was down by 10 points. Ethan felt panic rising. In the past, he would have relied on his natural ability and hoped it was enough. But now, he remembered all those early mornings of running, all those late nights of practice. He dug deep. Michael, too, pushed harder than ever. He ran until his lungs burned, dug for loose balls, and encouraged his teammates with every play. By the final quarter, the score was tied. With only seconds left, Michael dribbled down the court. The defense swarmed him, leaving Ethan open near the three-point line. Michael made the pass. Ethan caught the ball, took a deep breath, and shot. Swish. The buzzer rang. They had won. The crowd went wild. For the first time, Ethan wasn't just a talented kid. He was a player who had worked, sweated, and earned his place. And Michael, the boy who was once laughed at, was the captain who led them there. At graduation, Michael gave a short speech as class representative. His voice was steady, his words simple. Some of us are born with gifts. Some of us have to work twice as hard. But in the end, what matters is not where you start. It's how much you're willing to grow. Talent is a blessing. Hard work is a choice. And choice is more powerful than talent. The whole gym stood and applauded. Ethan clapped the loudest. Life moved on. Michael went to college on a basketball scholarship. He studied engineering, still carrying the same discipline that had changed his life. He wasn't the most brilliant student, but he graduated with honors because he never gave up. Ethan went to college too, though at first he struggled. Without constant effort, his grades fell, but he remembered Michael's example. Slowly, he built habits, studying regularly, practicing daily, and working harder than he ever had before. Years later, Ethan became a successful coach, teaching young athletes not just about sports but about life. He often told them, "Talent can start your journey, but hard work finishes it." Michael became an engineer, designing clean energy systems. He never forgot the nights practicing basketball under the streetlights or the talent show, where his hard work finally shined. One summer, many years after high school, Ethan and Michael met again at the old basketball court where it all began. They shot hoops, laughed about the past, and talked about their lives. Ethan looked at Michael and said, "You know, you proved something I never believed when we were kids, that hard work really does beat talent." Michael smiled. "Not just beat it. Hard work makes talent stronger. The two together are unbeatable." They both stood there in silence for a moment, watching the sunset over the empty court. And in that golden light, the truth was clear. Talent may open the door, but hard work is what walks you through it.